Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about my second graders mid-year update. We're going to talk about the homeschool curriculum she's been using, what we're changing, what we're finishing, anything new that we're trying. So if you're interested, make sure you stick around. All right, so this video is specific to my second grader. This is her mid-year update. I already did one for my preschooler, and I'll also be doing one for my fourth grader. It's just easier for me to break it up by grade. So those of you watching, if you're only interested in that grade, you can just watch that video. Let's talk about my second grader. So my second grader just turned 8 in November, and she's been homeschooling for part of her kindergarten year when things shut down, pretty much her whole first grade year and all of her second grade year. So she did have a small public school experience. Wasn't that great, but regardless of all of that, she is like a really good student. Like if I was a teacher in a public school, I think she would be like the perfect student. She loves doing schoolwork. She does it without being told to, and she'll do more than she needs to. She's very engaged. She's very eager to learn. She absolutely loves reading. She reads for entertainment. She has an extremely high reading level. She reads at almost a 6th grade level. So I wouldn't say that she's a very traditional second grader. She's having that motivation really helps a lot. Where some of my other kids they don't have that same motivation. So it's like I have to like horse them like, hey, we're doing school. Where with my second grader, she's like, what else are we doing? What else can we do? So it's very easy for her to finish curriculum. It's very easy for her to try new curriculum. She's very just interested in learning, so it really makes that easy. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because not every second grader is going to be this way. And when you hear me do like my fourth grader video, I don't have that same type of eagerness all the time, and so that one's going to be a little bit different in how I handle things. What I did is I just grabbed her homeschool bin where all of her curriculum and stuff is, and so I'm just going to go through it. Now I know from when I first shared what we're using from second grade, I've already changed a bunch, but I've already shared a lot of that, and so if I forget to mention something, leave it, and you're wondering like, hey, you said you were doing this curriculum, where's it at? Leave it below in the comments, and I will try to respond so you kind of know why we changed it, or maybe I just forgot to mention it because maybe that curriculum book is somewhere in her room. No idea. So I'm just doing this in no random order, just pulling stuff out of her bin. So this is a Wordly Wise. This is our first year trying Wordly Wise, and so for her I got book 2. And for her specifically, she kind of likes Wordly Wise, and she gets 10 words per lesson, and there's 15 lessons, and then each lesson has like sections, like A, B, C, D sections. So there's about 4 like sections to work through on each week of lessons. So she likes them. What she does on like, and I don't have it like where she does it every day, but she'll read through the word list and then do part A, and then the next day she'll do maybe part B and C because they're shorter, and then D is a long reading passage. So here's the passage, so it's a page and a half, and her vocabulary words are in there, and she has to go through and do questions. D is the one that we struggle with the most, and even like I said, when she like rolls her eyes at something or doesn't want to do something, I genuinely know it's because she doesn't want to do it. It's not like other kids who they don't want to do any schoolwork. She enjoys school and she enjoys learning. So when she tells me I don't want to do this, that's a sign for something else. She's not enjoying it. She's not learning from it. And so she finishes the D section on and off. I've told her it's up to her if she wants to do it. I stopped doing the D section with my older daughter, which I'll share more in that video, and that helped us get through these lessons a lot because that section is just very time consuming. Even when I read through it, it can be subjective to how you think about things, and so that's where we're at. Anyways, so in this mid-year, obviously we're halfway through our school year. Okay, so I just want you guys to keep that in mind. We're finishing our second quarter this week, so we're done. Monday starts our third quarter, so we are officially halfway through our school year. She has 2 more lessons left in Wordly Wise. So she has lesson 14 and 15 left, and she'll finish those within the first couple weeks of our third quarter. And so with this, I could decide, do I want to move her on to level 3? What are we going to do? We've made the decision that Wordly Wise is not going to make a return as curriculum in our homeschool, but we are kind of finishing it for my second grader because she doesn't mind it. I think that we're getting vocabulary from so many other sources that a dedicated vocabulary, especially the way that this one is, it just doesn't fit in our homeschool for the upcoming year. And so that's why I don't see the reason to buy the next one. So we're finishing it up. We have a couple more weeks and then we're going to be done with Wordly Wise this year. Song School Spanish is something that we started this school year. She did take Spanish when she was in public school. She went to Spanish class once a week and she's always just really enjoyed Spanish. She did a little bit of online Spanish, but I knew this second grade year I wanted to like a weekly curriculum for her to do. And so Song School Spanish, I am going to do a whole video on Song School Spanish, so I'm not going to go into it, but we absolutely love it. This is 30 lessons, so I honestly thought that this one book would get us through our school year, doing it about once a week. However, she enjoys it so much that she almost does it like her daily school days. So we school 3 days a week, so she's doing Spanish 3 days a week because she likes these lessons so much. She's actually on lesson 29, so we have 2 more lessons. We have 29 and then lesson 30 is like the book review, end of book 1, everything. So with that, we are moving on to Song School Spanish book 2 this year. Because she loves it so much and she's doing so wonderful with her learning her Spanish, we're jumping right into book 2 this year. And so like I said, I'm going to do a whole video on Song School Spanish, but just to provide you guys an update, we absolutely love that curriculum. All right, next up is Math 2. Now, if you've seen my video I made last week that we're done with the good and the beautiful, it is absolutely true. However, this is one of the only things that we're actually going to be finishing instead of just stopping. So she's doing Math 2. She also completed Math 1 last year. And if you're interested in why we're stopped using it, I'll link the video down below if you haven't seen it. But she is on lesson 89. And again, there's 120 lessons and we're only halfway through our year. So regardless if we were going to keep using the good and the beautiful or not, she's going to finish this curriculum in January. And so it's that's something that I have to think about. I'm not going to let her not do math for the next 2 quarters of our homeschool. So anyway, so she's on lesson 89. She does 2 lessons a day. Now, I know that's not normal, and that's the only reason she's ahead is because she's doing double the lessons. I'm telling you guys, it takes her maybe 10 minutes each lesson, and she's not getting frustrated. She's correctly doing problems. Just recently, in these like last 5 lessons, because we're starting to do multiplication, there has been a little bit where we have to go back and review, but still she's doing 2 lessons. And so I don't want to tell her, no, you can't do a lesson when she's asking to do it. So we know this is ending and I still haven't fully figured out what I'm going to do in replace of it. I did buy Saxon Math 3 because we've switched my older daughter to Saxon and I absolutely love that program. However, the older Saxon, where it starts at 5-4, which is 4th grade, is a completely different program than the Math 3 through like 1. It's just written differently, it's set up differently, so I've heard tons of mixed reviews. So we may try it and see if it's working. We may try some other things, but we're going to be doing something for math. I just don't know exactly everything that we're going to be doing once she finishes this math book. What she has started doing though, in preparation for that is speaking of Good and the Beautiful math, I have now used levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I don't feel like they have a strong enough emphasis on teaching multiplication. I know they have the musical multiplication, but my kids wouldn't enjoy that, and so I knew I needed supplement for multiplication anyways, and so I have been using times tables, and I'm going to do a whole video on times tables too, so I'm not going to get into that, but they basically have a program where it's before the tails, the actual times tails, and then after the tails, 3 different like units of learning multiplication. I've actually been doing a page in times before the tails each day after her normal math lessons, and so she is starting to do these worksheets, and we work through some multiplication practice. So I'll be sharing more on times tables in just a couple weeks as well. This is the language arts that we started with. It was the Good and the Beautiful level 2. She got to lesson 68, it looks like, so a little bit over halfway. However, we were just not enjoying these lessons at all. At least the math, even though she was speeding through it, there were some new concepts. I'm like, okay, this isn't a waste of her time. As far as the language arts program, it just was a waste of her time. She's such a strong reader. She doesn't need phonics review. I felt like things like maybe starting writing and more grammar is what she needs more of, is what was lacking. And so we are stopping at 68, and we're not going to be using this curriculum anymore. And so we've actually been back to school for a week now after our holiday break, and we haven't picked this up at all. So we are done with this book, but that is what we were using up until this point. This as well went with that, the reading booster cards. If you have a child who reads at a 3rd grade level or higher, I wouldn't even attempt to get these booster cards. It was almost... It was like a joke. Like, she was just breezing through them to get stickers, and I'm like, well, this was a waste. So that's just my advice on that one. We'll jump into reading real quick because, like I said, she's just an avid reader and loves reading. What we've been doing is she has assigned readers, and she gets the assigned readers. They're the Book Shark Language Arts C or B. I don't remember what letter it is. I did a whole video on it, and they're like the Language Arts 3. So anyways, it's a book list from Bookshark. So Bookshark is a similar sister company to Sunlight. They basically pick these readers, and so they were more of an advanced reader for a 2nd grade age. They're more on like a 4th grade reading level, 5th grade, and so I don't know. There was maybe about like 12 books, I can't remember. She started blowing through them. She was just like reading them so much, and they're all good books. I really do love all the books that Bookshark and Sunlight put out as in their assigned readers, which is why we use them in our homeschool. Because she was breezing through them so much, I started letting her pick other books that she wanted in. So I did an update video on all the books she had read so far, and I'll link that video so you can see the ones, because I put those somewhere else, but I believe that this is what she has left from the assigned readers. So she has 1, 2, 3, so there's 8 left. Like I said, she could read these in 8 weeks because she normally can finish one of these books in a week or less. So these are the assigned readers that she has left to read, but then I let her pick some others that she just wanted to read. I listened to the audiobook, The Read Aloud Family, and it's a really good audiobook or book if you want to read one, because it's so realistic. I was so, we'll say, negative going into reading that book, because I'm like, oh, this is going to be like the perfect homeschool mom that does perfect read alouds all the time, and that's not what happens in our homeschool. And once you actually listen, that's not what happens in their homeschool either. And so it really makes you feel better about what you are doing. So anyway, so one of the things she just explains is, yes, classical literature is amazing for our kids to read for various reasons, but also kids, if they're going to learn to love reading, they need to fall in love with a book. And just certain series are what's going to capture kids. And so listening to that, I wanted to make sure that I was giving her the opportunity to try new series or to continue series that she already really likes reading. And so in here we have a couple Zoe and Sassafras books. We absolutely love this series. They're so much fun to read. For her, they're an easier read, but she loves them. And so that's what keeps her so engaged in reading. She loves the Nancy Drew Clue books, so I got a couple more of those in there. We have a bunch of books from the 3rd grade detectives, and so this is books number 3 through 7, so I think she's already read numbers 1 through 2, and so she really likes these books as well. Where is Antarctica and the Ice Island, those both came in our Winter Knowledge Crate books, and so she picked those ones to be her readers. And then Charlotte's Web is something we're actually going to be doing as a read aloud together as part of a new language arts that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. So those are her books that she's reading and that she'll be reading for the rest of the year. And like I said, no issues there because she absolutely loves reading. Like I had to fill up her reading bin because that's how many books she has gotten through already. A couple other things, we did start trying out some gather round units. This wasn't specific to my 2nd grader. We were doing these as family units. We started out with North America and we got through about 5 lessons, but then the holidays came and so we kind of changed course. So we need to get back and we're gonna start this at the end of January to finish up. Absolutely love it. I have to do a video all on gather round, but this was amazing. And then we did complete U.S. History 1 from Gather Round. So we did this together as our history unit. Absolutely, absolutely loved it. I've tried so many different history curriculums and this is the only one that we actually finished and we enjoyed and we are wanting to do the next one. So like I said, I'll do a whole video on Gather Round, but those are more like her history, geography is what we've been using these for. Also, this year created our timeline. So these timeline books that I'm showing here are from Bookshark. They are beautiful, high quality cardstock, absolutely amazing. Even if you don't use Bookshark curriculum, I really love these timeline books. So what we do is so we do have some Bookshark history. I just can't follow the instructor's guide. It just doesn't work in our homeschool, but we do follow the readers and the Bookshark level D readers match up perfectly with the Gather Round unit. And so that's kind of what we were doing. And so we were using the Bookshark readers, but with Gather Round lessons. And then this timeline book, what we're going to do is throughout our homeschool years, these timeline books will stay theirs. They each have one. And what I did is I went on Canva, which I use a lot for editing, and I started making little timeline stickers. And so as we use different curriculums, we can mark different important things in history so we can refer back to it throughout our homeschool years. And so this was something really fun that we added in. If you guys want more information on this timeline book, in general, how I set it up, everything I did, let me know and I will make a separate video just on history timeline books. All right, now on to some new curriculum that we're going to be trying. So obviously if you've been watching some of my videos, we're making changes. We're discontinuing use of one of our main curriculums for language arts and math, and language arts is just a lot. And that's why I think that curriculum, The Good and the Beautiful, worked so well for so many people because it appears to just be an all-in-one language arts. As my kids get older and I get more confident as a homeschool parent and what we're capable of, as well as my kids are getting older and can handle more, I don't think an all-encompassing language arts 1 page a day honestly can work because there's just so many different aspects of language arts. So I don't know what we're switching to fully, but what I do know is we're enjoying trying out some different things. And so what I plan to do is I plan to share individual videos on all of these curriculums. So I'm gonna quickly mention it in this video, but each of these curriculums and my thoughts and my opinions overall will be in those videos. So just make sure if you're not, you hit that subscribe button because those will be coming out soon. So in no specific order, just how I'm grabbing binders. The first thing that we're trying out is IEW. If you watch YouTube videos and you've been around the homeschool community, there has been a lot of buzz about IEW because I believe about 2 years ago they kind of revamped their program and it's just amazing people with what this curriculum is doing. And so if you did not know, you can get a free 3-week trial of the IEW structure and style writing. I think like the first couple levels. So even if you have like older kids, you may be able to get a different level, and Fix It Grammar. So what I did is I got 3 weeks of IEW level A year 1 and the Fix It Grammar level 1. And so those normally are for like a 3rd to 5th grade. Well, I have a 2nd grader and a 4th grader. However, this is something that I'm more looking at for next year, as well as I know my 2nd grader's a little bit more advanced in reading. So I know she can read the passages. I know she can comprehend the vocabulary. However, I don't know the writing. I don't know if it's going to be too much for her or if the grammar is going to get a little bit too in-depth for her, just because I don't think she has such a solid foundation, because I don't think the Good and the Beautiful curriculum went deep enough with it. So, what I'm doing is I'm trying IEW out with both my 4th grader and 2nd grader together, to kind of see how they both are doing it. So we've already started week 2. I will tell you. So obviously my 2nd grader, I've already said point blank, she just loves learning, so she's pretty easygoing. My 4th grader isn't. She is very opinionated about what curriculum, and if I'm asking her to try something different, it's like, why? What is it going to do for me? Because I like A, B, and C, so why would we change it? So just know that there's 2 different personalities. And so going into this, I was like, my 2nd grader is going to be fine. She's more than willing to try it. However, I don't know if this curriculum is going to be a good enough fit for her. Maybe she needs it when she's a little bit older. And then my 4th grader, I'm like, she's just going to be like, no. Like, sure, I'll play along, Mom. We'll try it, but no. So when you get the free trial, you get everything. You get the videos, you get the worksheets, like everything you would if you were to buy it. I'm not even exaggerating when I say the engagement level of both of my daughters within the first 5 minutes of these lessons was insane. They absolutely loved the videos, the teacher, Andrew Poulois. They loved the assignments. They were able to keep up with him. They just loved it. They actually asked to do this assignment. Now again, for my 2nd grader, that's not odd. She tends to ask for schoolwork. For my 4th grader, that is like, that there's a 2% chance she may ask to do schoolwork, and that's normally because she wants something. This was nothing. Like, they enjoyed it that much. Now again, we're only on week 2, but for something to capture them that fast, it speaks of how engaging that teacher was and how easy that curriculum was to just kind of pick up. They weren't frustrated, overwhelmed, or anything. So obviously we still have time to get through. Any curriculum the first week is obviously very simple, review, setting up, and so as we get more into it, I'll definitely report back, but that is something we're trying out. Fix It Grammar, kind of same thing. They both really enjoyed it. It's quick, it's easy. It took them less than 5 minutes to complete it. Again, I'll do more updates on that. It's just something that we're trying out right now. Something that we're going to be starting next week. I don't know when you guys see this video, but our next week is we're going to be trying out a language arts unit from Moving Beyond the Page. And so we've never used Moving Beyond the Page, and again, I'll do a whole video on it because it's a lot, but basically they have different unit studies, but then they have like language arts and science or social studies that pair together. So we're going to be doing a language arts study on Charlotte's Web, and we're going to be doing a science unit that correlates with that on the water cycle. So this is just something I made. You know how I make those little schedules? So basically we're going to be spending, I think, 3 or 4 weeks on it, reading through Charlotte's Web, which was something I had planned anyways, but then doing the language arts on Charlotte's Web. And so there's all these different worksheets, and then the science lessons as well. And so, and just like an example of some of the worksheets. So that's something completely new we're trying. I have no idea how it's going to work, but I'll be sure to update you guys on that as well. And then the last thing that I'm really excited to share with you that we're going to be trying, and this may be specific to my second grader. Initially in my mind, what I'm thinking is the IEW is going to be for my fifth grader next year. And then this is going to be for my third grader next year. So I do think I'm going to separate them. Haven't fully made that decision, but this is Beowulf Grammar from Guest Hollow. And so this is just the standalone grammar, but there's also a language arts from Guest Hollow. And so this is something that we're going to be trying out as well over the next few weeks to see if this is something we want to incorporate into our next school year. And so I will be doing a whole video just on this grammar program as well as just on their language arts program, because they are two separate programs, but this one obviously would tie into their language arts if you use both of them. So those videos are actually coming pretty quickly after this one. So I'm really excited to be sharing that. I've actually been talking with the owners at Guest Hollow and really just researching their curriculum, and I really am excited to share this curriculum with you guys. I've also heard really great reviews. So that is some of the new stuff we're trying. Also, if you're curious, how did I come up with these things? Well, if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you do. I tend to go on there and be like, hey, what language arts do you guys like? And I really take that into consideration. I will buy it and we will try it, and I will share it back with you guys if it worked for us, why it didn't, why it may work for you instead. And so if you ever have curriculum recommendations or you're curious about a curriculum, either DM me on Instagram or leave comments down below. I promise I try to read all of them. All right, guys, this is a long video, I think. Hopefully I can edit it down a little bit, but if you stayed through the whole video, thanks so much. If you have questions, comments, leave those down below. But this is my second graders mid-year update as we are heading into our third quarter of the year. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will chat soon. Bye, guys.